Tree Talking Time is brought to you by Conkey's Outdoors and Stone Creek Hound Supply. Be sure to check them out for all your hound hunting needs.
Welcome to Tree Talking Time, where we talk all things tree dogs, from the smallest feists to the largest hounds, treating squirrels to bears and everything in between. And from time to time, we might even run a little fast game.
My name is Joe Moore. I'm 34 years old. I'm from southwestern Pennsylvania. Married to my beautiful wife, Lauren. We've been married a couple years. We have Mason Dixon Coonhounds is what we call it. I'm pretty serious into both showing and the hunting world.
I should steal your name.
Mason, yeah. We live right.
I can see the marker from my front door.
Really? Yeah. We have our club is right there by the Mason Dixon, and I just grew up crossing it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, every time I'd hunt on both sides of it, and it just kind of felt right for.
No, I
me.
understand. It's just funny. Like I said,
See it.
I live right there on it too.
Yep. Yeah, I figured it'd be a pretty popular name, but yeah. So I show and hunt both. Try to do them both pretty seriously. I've been doing it since I was probably about 7-8 years old. But Dad got me into it, and kind of here we are today.
What kind of hounds your dad run?
He always had walkers. He hunted walkers, so that's what got me into. My first dog ever was a walker. I got him when I was about 7. Just pleasure dog, and then kind of slowly got into competition hunts from there. By the time I was probably 10, and then I started showing plots at that time, and that's kind of what I've concentrated on. And now I'm a little bit more into the walker breed, but started out with hunting walkers and showing plots. So
Okay. So you did a lot of winning when you were a kid, though.
yeah, I was real serious into it when I was a kid. On the bench show side, first year I went to Youth Nationals in 2003. He was in Shelbyville, Indiana. I won the whole show with a plot called Divided Acres, Little Joe. Real solid dog I handled for a local guy. Did a good bit of winning with him. Won the Pennsylvania State a couple times. Won King of Show Up plot days. Just
Nice.
numerous stuff like that with him.
So you were competitive, even not just in youth events, but in regular events as a kid.
Yeah, and then I had a littermate to him I called Primetime Princess, and did some good one with her, some opposite sexes, some state titles, Queen of Show Up plot days. So that was, and then it just kind of went on from there, like various other category wins and state youth championships and that, until I kind of aged out. But I also enjoyed hunting a good bit. Back then I hunted a direct sun off Stylish Clover.
Okay.
Most people probably know. In 2003, I got into the top 6 of the PKC Youth World.
That's pretty good.
Yep, and then the following year, same dog, I got into the final cast. Ended up getting third, get a $2,000 scholarship for that.
Nice.
And then it would have been 2007, would be my last year as a youth. I was hunting another dog he was a grandson to Stylish Clover. A local guy named Tim Gump let me handle. Called him the Duke, and I got third at Youth Nationals with him. So with both of those, I was able, get a good chunk of my first year college tuition paid. So
Heck yeah. That's something I don't think a lot of people realize is the scholarship opportunities. And, UKC does a lot with that.
yeah, they do a really, really good job. Super easy to get them to get use out of them too. And it's nice, like, maybe college isn't for everybody, but a technical school, trade school, like that's huge. And especially if you
Any post-secondary education.
yeah, if you get into it, and you're a younger kid and you start winning a couple of those, that's huge, to it may be motivation to even try it when some people might even think they, couldn't afford it but
Yeah.
so that's a huge benefit. I'm a huge proponent of the youth program. I know there are definitely times, like I got out of it a little bit when I was in college and now I'm back into it, but there are times, like, just thinking about some of the stuff I did when I was younger, and that's like kept me motivated, kept me into sport. It's kind of retained me at times when I,
Yeah.
it's not the most easiest or most fun thing at times. So things like that. So I really think if anybody can get a kid out there and get them to any youth event.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, anytime I try and see if someone's doing a youth event and they're asking for, a prize sponsor or something, I usually try and help sponsor an event if I can, just because if we don't have kids, then we're not going to have anything going forward.
Yeah, and like you said, with these scholarship stuff, if you get into other sports, like whatever sport, basketball, football, whatever, most kids are not going to get anywhere with that as far as scholarships, or they're not going to go to school and on a any sort of sports scholarship. So here we are coon hunters, and you could actually win. You know, it's not like it's different. It's not like, yo, you're going to go play for a school. But, but still, you're still getting money towards school. So.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, the when you talk about someone getting a scholarship for school, that's the 1% of the 1% in athletics. Yeah. But, I mean, anybody, no matter your background, if you just work hard and get a good, I mean, put your time in with a dog, you can, by the end of your youth time, you could have several $1,000s built up, and that's huge.
Well, it's like the UKC Youth National winner, senior winner the last 2 years. It's been the same girl, Brooke Sneed, and so she's won back-to-back. She's got a nice chunk of change, and she's still got a couple years to hunt.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I want to say she's like 15. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, Jackson Cable, he won it this year, the youth division, and that's $1,000. And I mean, he's just 7 or 8 years old, and for a young kid like that, if they continue with it, by the time they age out, they could have a pretty good head start on life for sure.
Oh, for sure, especially for Jackson.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, so that kind of that was kind of my glory days, I guess you could say. But then I went to college. I went to Western University, so I kind of took a little break. The show dogs I had at the time kind of aged out, and I just wasn't really interested in breeding. But I've always, even through those days, kept a good pleasure hound, and I have and hunted. And then once kind of out of college and kind of got back into life and was able to settle down, I started to get back into showing and, you know, went through some dogs, found some dogs, and then kind of where I'm at now with a little bit more competitive, I guess, in a super competitive. Yeah, in a super competitive world here, especially at Autumn Oaks. You look around, every dog's like, you know, national level quality. So it can be.
Let's rack off some of these accomplishments. You know, a little more competitive here.
The dog that I've been running the past couple of years, Mason Dixon, she's a little sassy. She's off Kelly Meyer's Boondocker dog, who won the World Show, and Steve Randolph, who passed away, his female Meg. And I got her from Kelly and Dave a few years ago, and she's won Pennsylvania opposite sex twice. She's won the Tennessee State. She's won category wins like Grand Female, Champion Female at Southeastern String Walker Days. The last 3 years, she's went Best Female Show, Champion Female, Grand American. That's something I'm very proud of. That's a very prestigious show. So she's been won Tennessee State this year. Won Best in Show at the Washington State Coonhounds Specialty Show. Reserve Best in Show there last year. So she's been. She makes my job easy. She's a good one. So I'm very, very lucky to have her, and kind of can't wait to kind of start my breeding program from there, hopefully with, on her foundation and go forward. And then I have a few others. I have a couple. I have a dog I call Red, Lost Heritage Smooth Criminal. He's won some category stuff at some state shows and stuff like that. Plot dog I call Monkey, kind of same thing. He won Best of Breed here at Oaks. He's won Best Male Show, Grand American, bunch of state shows and stuff. So definitely.
You go to some local events, but you also really like to go to these larger events. So a lot of the events that you're winning, there is some stiff competition. It's not like, you're grinding dogs out at where there's 2 dogs at a club. No.
Yeah.
You show up to big events where there's real competition.
Yeah, that's what that like really drives me. I like to travel. I like to hit up different events. Like this year I chose Tennessee State over Pennsylvania State. I thought it'd be a little better competition, Mm-hmm. So we try to do that. I go to the Winter Classic. I usually start the year off with Grand American. Then we'll go to the Winter Classic. The past few years I've been lucky enough to get in the top 10 to Walker Breed. So that's been really good. Then some years we'll hit Southeastern String Walker Days or Walker Days, and then kind of start, maybe some state shows through there into the fall. So I try to stay busy. And like me and you spoke last night when you rode along on the cast that there's so many clubs now these days that are doing really good jobs promoting what would normally have been a local level show and has now become, a nice show. It's not, it's not Autumn Oaks, but they're really good local level shows. Like Katie and Jason Woodward in Virginia, and we spoke about Corey Groover's club. Angie Cable does a really good job. Everyone knows of her. Yeah. Her Christmas show, I think she starts posting about it when Christmas is over,
exactly.
the following year. And things like that draw a really good quality of dogs. Like that has helped the The top 10 program, I've talked to Trevor before. I think that has been a huge addition when they added the money program into the top 10 because it has made people start to chase
that
top 10 points, and then you want to go to, events like that where you wouldn't normally drive. So, yeah, we try to do that.
Well, at the same point, you said you were telling me last night, and I've listened to the UKC podcast enough to know that the Walker breed is very competitive as far as the top 10.
Oh my gosh, it's insane. I mean, it's crazy. You'll have it takes the bottom of the Walker breed the past couple of years would be leading some of the other ones. It's just, I mean, there's so many high qualities. And not that there's not, high quality dogs in other breeds. It's just it gets so competitive, and then once that kind of breeds a culture of, more competitive, more running, and it's tough. But I haven't had any luck at the top 10 show because, then you're at the best of the best, and I just kind of fit in where I can there. But that's the top 10 program is a great addition for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I've been back into hunting for competitively and seriously for the past couple of years now, and I hunted this week in that Cross Plains Pro Slam shootout. Yep. The dog I'm running right now is Mason Dixon's Electric Pete. He's a dual champion. He's right off Scott Ingles' Electric Rodeo dog.
Yep. And
goes back to the Shack dog out of Cheyenne Cummings stuff on the bottom. He's a nice hound. He definitely has his flaws, but he's something that I'm proud to hunt. He's got
a different mouth.
He does.
He has a lot of different barks.
Yeah, he's a screamer. We got a guy last night on struck him in. Didn't want to take his medicine on striking Pete. Yeah, he's got a big, unique mouth. He's kind of different in that aspect. Small, compact dog. Likes to really move around the best he can, and that's something that he always gives me everything you have when I turn him loose, and that's something that I appreciate. And he's also he's a well-built dual dog. So I really enjoy that, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. And we hunted last night in a dual hunt, so it's kind of what everyone strives for, is a good dual balanced dog. But
Conkeys Outdoors is proud to be a sponsor of Tree Talking Time. Family, hunting, tradition is the Conkeys motto. They understand the importance of passing down the tradition of hound hunting. They are a family-owned business that treats you like family. They also understand the importance of having the gear you need when you need it. Conkeys carries everything for your next hunt, and it ships to your door quick. They also offer great warranties on all tracking systems and financing options. Check them out at conkeys.com. You can also use the code TreeTalkingTime5 in all caps to save as well.
We spoke about last night, that kind of might be a little diverged these days, but hopefully somebody can bring it back in a little bit better and have a more balanced dog in the woods and on the bench.
No, I think a couple dogs that I saw that did win last night, they should be a decent show today.
Yeah, there's some really, I mean, we spoke last night, the black and tan breed I think is just a top-notch breed organization. The people who are in it and everything, like very well-run breed, and I think every dog.
Don't let them black dog people hear that.
We'll have to cut this part, but I mean the three cast winners I saw are all very well-built dogs, and then I saw some dogs get in on the Walker side, that a couple of them they're very tough, and they'll be so they're out there. It's just hopefully people breed cross on conformationally correct dogs to keep getting crossed on hunting dogs, and kind of go forward from there. But that's a hunt I really really like, is this national dual hunt. I think that's a good, especially for me, who's someone who really enjoys both. I think it's a really good addition.
No, I think it's really the dual dogs that they stand out, and I think it's important that we're breeding conformationally correct dogs. As a coon hunter, a lot of times we don't need a hound that's going to hold up. Like coon hunting, you don't push a dog like we're big game guys do. And we were talking about that with plots. Some of the big game lines of plots, they're really well built dogs just because they have to be.
Yeah. Yep.
And you can kind of get away from it a little easier with the coonhound breed because you're not pushing them as hard. Hunting 2 hours versus and having a dog run 30 miles all day long on a bear.
Especially, I mean,
it's just two vastly different.
Yep, especially hunting in the mountains versus hunting a little bit flatter ground. And some of these, I mean, a top level competition dog is. The coon dog is, probably one of the finest, accomplishments and athletes in the world, just because how much it takes to really get it to that level.
Yeah.
But you can get away a little bit with non-conformity correct dogs because, and then you might not run them forever, maybe a year or two, but a big game hunter, especially out west and, in the mountains of West Virginia and Virginia, those people need a well-built dog to hold up. And then once they have those, they continue to breed them, and it just, you can definitely tell things like that. So hopefully that comes back in. And I know a lot of people are definitely more aware and, of conformation these days. So I think that's the step a lot of the breeds need to move forward in for sure.
For sure. And like we were talking last night, I think like these, especially UKC, the bench shows are big. Not to put more work on them, but I think we really need to do a better job of educating, judges and stuff. And I think a lot of dogs that get granted, it's the lack of knowledge, of people don't know how dogs are really supposed to be built.
Oh,
I've asked a few people and they've explained what this or that, and I'm like, I would have never known that had I not asked.
Yep.
And at one point I was going to get my judge's license, and all I had to do was submit my test, and I filled it out and did it all and just never sent it in, and then shadowed a couple judges. But with their local judges, and we were talking about that, some of them don't know. So you come to hear and talk to the people that judge and show at these national level events. It's vastly different than what you see on some of the local level stuff, and that's what I'm saying is we need that education
for sure. If for someone who's likes to show on a local level and wants to come to Automogs or Winter Classic, Grand American, something I think really beneficial to them would be just go up and talk to a judge, or if you see someone who you recognize it does show a lot, just go pick their brain a little bit, or just kind of eavesdrop on some of our conversations, and you will start to pick up. I mean, every show I go to, I try to pick out something that I see a handler do that I don't do that seems to be better, or I'll listen to someone break a dog down, be like, I didn't really see that, or I saw this. And just if you're constantly evolving, that is helping you. But also if you're someone who wants to get into it, just come and learn and kind of see what you think a good dog is, and then that lets you, go forward. And one of the biggest things in hunting and especially showing is just being truthful and honest about what kind of dog you have. Recognize its faults and go from there. Don't, if you have a dog in the woods that has a little bit of a hole this way, try and correct that. Or on the bench, if you have a dog that a little bit of this, and you can maybe condition a little bit better or get a little bit better as a handler. But there are some things you just can't fix.
Oh, for sure.
And you need to understand that, and then kind of explore your other options. And don't get discouraged. Just some people, some of your guys can get a dog to stand just perfect. That thing will stand on statute, but it may have some major flaws. And they come to a show like Automotive or something, and they don't win. Well, they get discouraged because, my dog never moved. And it's there are more than that to it. And I think
a lot of times on the local, small local clubs, my local club, is what I use. When I say local clubs, I'm thinking literally the club that I'm the vice president of. So I'm not picking on other local clubs. This is literally my club that I'm thinking of. You have a dog that stands, you have a really good shot of winning. Because most of those guys, they're just coon hunters, and they might throw a dog in a bench show. They're not show dogs.
Yep.
So you have a dog that actually stands. It's you stand a really good chance of winning.
Yep.
So.
No, you're absolutely right. The local level, that is a lot of the times it is really a standing competition. Then you get here and judges that it doesn't matter how well a dog stands or doesn't stand. They understand movement on the ground. They understand, how everything's supposed to be put together, where it's supposed to be, and that's when you really get to learn. And like we said, if we might get a couple more judging seminars or other things like that, I think that's just better for everybody to kind of see what is actually being judged, what is being expected of dogs, and for sure. Yeah, I mean, if you come here this weekend, you step in the show barn, you're going to see the best dogs in the country. Especially tomorrow, you walk back over there, when the National Grand will be up there, and that's just
exactly.
That's what everybody breeds for, that's what everybody wants, and it's that is just the best of the best, and that's
what I was telling somebody yesterday. I said, you want to see the best dogs in the country Saturday morning.
100%.
You're going to see them. So
it's fun, too. It was like a show person to watch, a little bit this morning when they're doing registered or, the champion class. And you can kind of pick out that, next dog that's hey,
Those dogs that are up and coming.
That dog's coming. He might be a year old, or she might just turn 2. She feels that a little bit more. She's 3, 4 years old. That dog's gonna be tough. And then, in a couple of years, you'll see him over there winning, and that's a lot of people just. Some of your average kenners just don't understand the bench show aspect of it, or just don't appreciate it, I guess. But it's just as serious, as the big hunts. I mean, people put their whole lives and breeding program into it. So
I'm a leopard person, and there's a big distinction between show leopards and hunting leopards, and so like I've poo-pooed it a little bit and talked down on the show people and stuff, and that's where I think I would like to see more of a balance. Like we were talking about those dual dogs, like. They can be well built, but they can also hunt. And like I said, where in some breeds you see this bigger divide, and that's where to me is as a coon hunter, I'm like, I'd like to bring that back around more to these dual dogs that can compete on a high level, but at the same point can actually go tree a coon.
Yep. Oh, for sure. That's the biggest thing is if they will actually tree a coon. I think it just takes a lot of that, I think, to get back, it's not going to take one generation. It's going to take a couple crosses, and that like someone is going to take a breeder who has. And I mean, I don't have the time or the setup right now to be doing that, so I'm no better than literally anyone else. But it will take a breeder who has the vision and the patience to do a couple different crosses to get to where they're at, and 2 or 3 generations down, and that's a tough thing to want to do. I mean, if you have a really nice show female and it's like. The breeder to a nice hunting dog. I mean, it's tough. So like you spoke last night, the black and tan breed is kind of all around. I think the best balanced dual breed right now. Yeah. As far as UKC goes, you might not see a ton of them winning. Big PKC Pro Classics and stuff like that, but that doesn't mean they're not good solid coon dogs. And it seems like the Walker breed to me has went a little split down the middle there. So we'll see.
Like I said, my breed too, leopards.
Yep.
Same way. You have these vastly different looking dogs. Well, I mean, heck, you get vastly different dogs no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Leopard breed,
they all look a little different to me.
Yep, for sure. Stone Creek Hound Supply, a family-operated business, boasts over 50 years of involvement in hounds. For over 2 decades, they've been dedicated to supplying high-quality hound gear. Their reputation is founded on unparalleled quality and exceptional customer service. Crafted from U.S. source materials, Stone Creek clothing is meticulously manufactured right here in Pennsylvania. Through their commitment to excellence, many of their customers have become lifelong friends. So what are the top goals right now? What are you looking to do? What are you looking to achieve?
Top goals for sure would be I got the world zones coming up with Pete. I like trying to punch him through there, but that's kind of short term. Long term for him. He just turned 3. I'd like to keep pushing him and see what I can get him into maybe a little bit bigger hunts, kind of tune him up a little bit. I kind of saw what maybe some of his holes were this weekend between the last 2 nights, and get him tuned up, try to get some money won on him, and then push him for TOC, get back here. I don't see myself running too many crazy big hunts, but like TOC, UKC World, things like that, then try to hit up some I did the UKC Pro Slam on Wednesday night here. I think that's something I'm definitely interested in going forward once you kind of find my level of where I'm comfortable at, where I'm competitive, and kind of going from there. So that's just kind of keep hunting him. I have a young dog at home. You
gonna be in the next pro sport truck hunt?
Not yet. I don't think so. I gotta.
That's a little higher than your level you're comfortable with.
Yeah, I got to work on some things before I'm out there competing with those guys. But just keep plugging away with him. I got a dog at home. Off Money in the Bank and Heartland Bonnie. He just a little over a year. Kind of want to push him through this winter and see what he comes out of the spring with, and see what he's got all the potential in the world. He's treat some coon for me, and as I talked last night, we don't have a great coon population where I'm from. I'm in the kind of hills of Pennsylvania and West Virginia, so it takes a little longer to get one going. But that's the hunt side. The show side, Sassy's 4. She got a couple more years left. So kind of just keep pushing her. I talked about I want to try and hit some maybe events this next year or 2 that haven't hit yet. Maybe like the St. Jude Classic, the Heartland Classic, things like that. Where I even told you about that, the Coon Hunters Reunion or whatever it does in Virginia or Vermont, things like that. I just kind of I still have her. Events. Yeah, hit her some different stuff. I mean, I've taken her to all the major stuff, and she's done what she's probably going to do at those. But and then start looking for the next generation and
showing her tomorrow.
I am showing her. Yeah, I'm showing Red in the champion male class. I'll show Sassy and Gran.
Okay.
in grand female. I showed them both in the confirmation show on Thursday, yesterday, and had a little bit of luck. Won some class, got reserve male and reserve champion. So
Nice.
it's no best in show, but it was we got some ribbons, so
There you
let's
go.
get a picture taken. So that's my goal with her. Then start my kind of find the male I think that complements her the best, or she complements vice versa, and kind of start my breeding program from there. That's my goal. I mean, in this sport, you always kind of got to be looking for keep your eye open for a next one. So
Yep. Always
looking. So that's my goal, is just kind of keep this kennel going and go from there. I'm also our local club's vice president, so I kind of want to maybe try and help grow that club and things like
Good
that.
deal.
So just stay involved in the sport and see where it takes us, I guess.
Awesome. Anything else? We need a good hunting story. Come on.
Oh, good hunting story. Good hunting story. I got plenty that probably are appropriate, but one that always kind of stands out to me is when I was a kid, I was in the Pennsylvania State Youth Championship. This is kind of like a little crazy story. And I was probably, 11, 12, I don't know, something like that. Just, old enough to remember all this, but not old enough to remember everything. And thought I was getting there deep. And, of course, you're on youth cast, so there's everybody's dad's there with him. You got the guy judge. So we're walking through. It looks like a little village going through the woods. And we're kind of deep we're in Fayette County, Pennsylvania, for anyone who knows where it's at. It's a little more mountainous than where I'm from. And we're walking the dogs, and out of nowhere, we come up to a little clearing, and there is the truck part of like a tractor and trailer semi. And it's not old, not run down. Just you can't see how this truck got in there. There's no road. There's nothing. It is like the craziest thing. Well, we come around and we see a light, and there's, crazy looking guy set up outside this truck. In my young mind, he kind of looks like, his hair kind of looks like Albert Einstein. He had all crazy hair going on. And turns out he was making acid. He was up in the woods making, doing a lot of stuff he shouldn't have been doing. And just for, he got walked up on by 4, 12-year-old kids and parents and lights, and he was freaked out, and we were freaked out. And that was, to this day, it's just something I tell everybody that story, and I was like, that's something I can't ever forget, just that image and how this crazy guy got his truck up in the woods. But
that is.
Yeah, it was something.
Always something.
It is. You never know who you're going to run into or what you're going to run into in the woods. So that always makes it interesting.
That's for sure. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me today, Joe, and I wish you the best of luck tomorrow. Hopefully, by the time this airs, you will be National Grand.
Oh, man, that would be
pretty cool, wouldn't it?
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, I really appreciate you asking me to come on here. You rode along with me last night on that dual hunt, and I really appreciate everything you do for the sport. We talked about, I think, all this, the podcast and the social media coverage that all this gets now is just so good for, I can't even explain how good it is for sport, just because it reaches new audiences, it keeps people engaged. Yeah. And at the end of the day, people want coverage, people want publicity. That's, if there ain't big recognition, that's the right word there. If you're not getting big money, that's what you want at the end of the day. And I think this just brings more and more recognition, lets people hear people's stories, and gets one kid or keeps one person involved. And I think that's a really good thing. So I really appreciate you having me on here.
Not a problem. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Tree Talkin' Media. And until next time, keep 'em talking in the timber.